I know you're the most grateful person in the world because every day you get to sit down and watch me on the television every night. What an honor for you. What an honor for you. But I want you to know there's someone responsible for all that. The reason you get to hear me blather on the radio and then speak so eloquently here on the television is because of a man by the name of Michael Berry, who calls himself the Czar of Talk. He is a big-time nationally syndicated radio host. I didn't give him that nickname. He asked to be called the Czar of Talk. So joining me now is my friend and mentor, and the only reason I'm in this business, the Czar of Talk, Michael Berry. Michael, thank you so much for joining me for the first time ever on my TV show. Thank you.
And how do I answer the phone? Every time you call, you've reached the Czar.
He does.
He rolls his eyes. I can hear him rolling his eyes.
He does. That's actually true. Every single time I call him, he answers, "This is the Czar." And every time I yell, but he keeps doing it. All right, Michael, I want you to tell everybody about the first time you got to meet me.
Well, for people who don't know your long and illustrious story, I don't know if you remember this part, but there was a story about people being trashed for what they had done in the past. I can't remember the exact details, but someone had mentioned that this had been done to Jesse Kelly. And so we tracked you down and you came on to our show, and you had been a congressional candidate in Arizona. And your reputation had been smeared, not in one race, but two, coming very close to winning. And I immediately, Ramon, my producer, and I immediately said, this guy is a media star, and I don't even know if he knows it. You were pretty cocky back then, but not quite as cocky. And as everyone knows, because you take great pride in it, as you should, you were selling RVs at the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's an admirable thing to do. But I said, this guy's a media star. And I immediately started telling you, dude, forget selling RVs. You need to be on TV. You need to be on the radio. And here we are today. You're on Tucker Carlson's show every other night. You're on every radio broadcast. You're nationally syndicated. Look at you. Just look at you. You got makeup on. You got your own makeup on. By the way, I asked your makeup people if they would put makeup on me, and they put the makeup in front of me. I said, I don't know what to do. I said, you put Jesse's on. They said, we're under contract. I said, forget it. So if I look bad, it's because I don't have makeup on.
Michael, the guy you thought was a makeup guy is a dude. Dudes don't put on makeup. Women put on makeup. You don't ask a dude to put makeup. You know what? We're going to set. You know what? We're going to set that aside. All right.
Look at me.
You do actually look terrible.
This was my big chance to get my own show on the first. And look at it. There's wrinkles and crinkles. I'm sorry.
We're going to play you a cut of Rand Paul interrogating Dr. Fauci today. Here it is.
Virus that doesn't exist in nature, and it made mice sicker, mice that had humanized cells. You're saying that that's not gain-of-function research?
According to the framework and guidelines.
So what you're doing is defining away gain-of-function. No. You're simply saying it doesn't exist because you changed the definition on the NIH website. This is terrible, and you're completely trying to escape the idea that we should do something about trying to prevent a pandemic from leaking from a lab. There's the preponderance of evidence now points towards this coming from the lab, and what you've done is change the definition on your website to try to cover your ass, basically. Until you accept it, until you accept responsibility, we're not going to get anywhere close to trying to prevent another lab leak of this dangerous sort of experiment. You won't admit that it's dangerous, and for that lack of judgment, I think it's time that you resign.
Thank you, Senator Paul.
Michael, why did Dr. Fauci get as far as he got? Why didn't he get fired by Trump or Pence or whoever right away?
Because Fauci gives this air of expert. And we live, as you've said many times, in the era of the expert. And there is this idea that we commoners, we don't know like those who live in the towers do. There are experts on the environment and experts on health. And he's an expert on health, and you just sit quietly and accept what he gives us. But, you know, Jesse, I got to tell you a story, and I don't know if I've ever told you this. 2012, New Hampshire. I'm there in the gym after the debate, and Rand Paul's not a great debater because he's not a great speaker. And here is this diminutive little Rand Paul, and he comes into the gathering, and nobody wants to talk to Rand Paul. And I remember thinking at the time, Rand Paul should be a bigger part of the national conversation. He has absolutely owned this issue. On the judiciary, Ted Cruz. On healthcare and this pandemic, it's Rand Paul, Dr. Rand Paul, and his dad before him. we do this disservice in creating celebrities when you have guys that may not be as handsome or as clever at a turn of phrase, but have so much more substantive knowledge. Rand Paul is a national hero, and this last 2 years has proven that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he is. He is. You know what? We don't give him enough credit. I need to give him more for how awesome he's been and making Fauci look like an idiot in front of everybody. All right, Michael, the big news of today, I just freaked out about it at the beginning of the show, is this mandate. And Michael, I just can't believe we're at a place in this country where we're going to have mass firings over a vaccine. It is so unjust. It is so un-American. And I cannot believe this is where we are now.
Look, 99% of your Twitter page is absolute puffery and uselessness. I can't figure out why it's gone so viral. But you had something very clever to say this week. And that was you posted a picture of when Sully had just landed that plane and the people were clinging to the wings. And your heart goes out to that. And you said, we trust a man to take that big bird into the air and, more importantly, to put it back down in the water and save all those lives. But we don't trust him to make his own decision as to whether he gets the vaccine or not. We give a man or a woman a badge and a gun and say, you can shoot somebody with the power of the state, but you can't decide whether to shoot yourself with the vaccine. Nurses get to make life or death decisions. This has got to stop. This nonsense has got to stop. And we're seeing it with athletes. That's who's going to turn the table. You know this. Celebrities drive everything. But celebrities drive everything. And now that the celebrities are pushing back, I think we're turning the corner on this. I really do, Jesse.
Okay, Michael, what chance does a person in a blue area have? You and I are blessed to live in Texas. People don't realize this, but Michael's actually about 30 feet down the hall from me right now. So look, you're not going to get a mandate. I'm not going to get a mandate. But there are people out there, good people stuck in blue states. What chance do they have? What chance does someone in New York have right now?
Well, for the record, I'm 6 foot tall and a quarter inch, and Jesse's like 7'2", which is why we're not in the same studio, because I refuse to look like a midget. You've said it many times. It's time that people in blue states move out and make red states redder. I don't know if that's the answer, but Jesse, I got to tell you, I mean, we laugh and we joke and we provoke and we fire people up. But at heart, you and I have had a lot of heart-to-hearts off air, and you really feel bad for people. Cops losing their jobs. This is all they ever wanted to be. Like my brother was a cop. Nurses that are caretakers losing their jobs. Workers at plants that are being offshored because it's too expensive to run a business here. And it's at the end of it all, it breaks your heart. Good, honest, decent people are realizing you can't run from politics anymore. It's showing up at your doorstep. It's showing up at your employer's office. It's showing up at your small business. It's showing up at your kid's school. And the only way you're going to stop it is to smash these people in the mouth. That's all they understand.
Michael, why would the Biden administration push forward on a day like today? It's Thursday, when they're less than 48 hours removed from getting just pasted in Jersey, New York, Virginia. It seems like such a nonsensical move, doesn't it? Why do something so unpopular when you're clearly unpopular?
Well, it's the same reason Gavin Newsom is pushing 5 to 11-year-olds to get a vaccine mandate in San Francisco. It's an attempt to distract by turning us against each other, where we're fighting against each other rather than focusing on a border that's wide open, a Keystone pipeline that's closed up while Biden is begging OPEC to give us more fuel, all these other things that are a distraction. And by the way, look at what the Fed's doing. We're about to watch a grinding to a halt of our economy because the Fed's going to have to raise interest rates. It's coming. And when this happens, all at Christmas with the vaccine mandate that takes effect next month, you're about to watch when kids have to explain why Santa Claus didn't visit and they had a good year after they've been locked in. It's terrible. Add to that a new report coming out that kids are watching their TV screens too much or their computer screens too much, all a result of these lockdowns. It's about to all come to a head, Jesse. You and I both know that. And if you think what happened in Virginia was a bloodbath, it's going to happen across the country. And that's going to be a big wake-up call to the Democrats. They have given their party over to the far left wing, and they're going to have to take it back.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? That was pretty profound. I'm going to say exactly that on my radio show tonight and give you no credit for it and act like I came up with it. And it's going to be it's going to be awesome. Michael Berry, everyone, thank you.
I'm proud of your career, my man. I am very proud to have supported you in the early days because you are a rock star, and I love you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I owe it all to you. Thank you. Good man right there. Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.